In this video, I'm going to share two deadly sins that are overlooked but are nonetheless one of the most dangerous sins to commit and to be in as a Christ follower. The first one is pride. So pride is a very dangerous sin because it can lead to destruction and it can lead to harm and bad things without you really being aware that it's happening. Because pride is more like an underlying thought process to other actions versus like other sins that might be like murder or stealing or lust. Those are all things that like you do, versus pride is more like an underlying thing, so it can really be sneaky and like creep in without you being aware of it, and it manifests itself as you thinking that you're better than you are, and you're thinking that you are doing things without fault, and you're not really willing to apologize. Like humility is the opposite of pride, and humility looks like saying I'm sorry, looks like saying when you do a wrong thing, not like apologizing all the time and trying to be a people pleaser, but like when you actually do something wrong, you're willing to apologize. And humility also looks like being aware that you could be wrong and being able to accept correction from God and correction from other people as well that God can work through. There was a point in my life where I was prideful, and then it led to pain and suffering. Like I could look back on the steps on what happened and everything, and I was like, man, like I was prideful. Like I thought I was doing good, but like clearly I was doing something wrong. Somebody told me about it and I wasn't able to change, wasn't willing to change my ways. I was just like in my own head thinking that I was okay. I was literally being prideful and not accepting correction and being okay with being wrong. Like it's kind of like a feeling in your heart that you're trying to like boost up your own self-esteem, trying to like protect yourself from criticism, but it's like you're not guarding your heart. You're actually like setting yourself up for failure and bad things in the future by being prideful, versus like if you let criticism in an honoring way, then like that's gonna build you up more than if you're only trying to like protect yourself from all negativity. Like criticism is a good thing, especially when it's from godly people and done in a constructive manner rather than a negative manner. So therefore, this explains the essential of being humble. Prayer is the ultimate way to be humble, because when you're praying, you're literally expressing your need to God and your dependency on God for what you need in your life. And when you're depending on somebody else, that's humbling, that's humility. Because when you're prideful, you're like, oh, I don't need anybody, I have my own thoughts, my own ideas, I can do this by myself, I don't need other people's criticism or ideas, like I can do it all by myself. Versus prayer, you're like literally asking God. Well, one of the forms of prayer is asking, it's petition. Petition is like when you ask God for things, and when you're asking God for things, you're like, I can't get this by myself, like I need you to do it with me, or I'm gonna do this part, but I need you to do this part. And maybe you don't even know like what God is gonna do, but you're still bringing it to him. And when you humble yourself to God in that way, it's like you're acknowledging that he can take your prayer and he can work with it in his way, and he's powerful and he's big enough to take your prayer and work with it in maybe even more ways than you are even like asking him to, because you're acknowledging his power in that situation. And even if you don't know that you're praying like the right way, or praying with a certain thought attitude or anything like that, still you going to him in the first place is a good step to becoming more humble. Whenever you're praying, like that's just good in and of itself. So don't stress if you're like, oh, my thought isn't like, oh, God is powerful when I'm praying. Like if you're trying it out and you're putting in the practice makes progress. So be encouraged with that. In 1 Peter 5:6, it says, humble yourselves therefore under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. So a way to be humble is acknowledging that you depend on God. And when you pray to him, when you're talking to him, you're saying that like it's an attitude that you want to have like in your life and throughout your day. And it's also like literally a good thing to just say like, God, I humble myself before you, and like just bring that to him and talk with him about it. And it's not like you have to meet certain standards and then you're like, okay, I'm going to God right now. Like literally you humbling yourself before God is you acknowledging that you don't have it together. And maybe you're like, oh, I'm being prideful. You praying to God and asking for help with your pride is in and of itself humbling. So you don't need to like get yourself humble and then go to God. Like in the moment of going to God and like seeking his help, you are becoming more humble in and of itself. And the second deadly sin that can be overlooked is discontentment. This can drive you to stealing and greed. Because discontentment is like, oh, I'm not content with what I have, so I need to get something else. And so I want something that can lead to coveting, and then that can lead to, oh, I'm not going to wait till I have whatever I need, whatever maybe financial means or maybe this store doesn't have it, I don't know. Whatever situation it is, if you're like, I don't have this and I want it, and you go to extreme measures to get those things, that's what happens when people are stealing and when they're greedy. Is like it starts with discontentment for a lot of situations. Wickedness says the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil as well. So it's not, money isn't bad. It says the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And that's in 1st or 2nd Timothy. And in 1st or 2nd Timothy, it also talks about contentment as well. I think it's 1 Timothy 6 that it is. Another danger of discontentment is that it blocks you from seeing the blessings around you that God has already given you. Because when you're discontent, you're not happy with what you have, but you're thinking about, oh, I gotta get this, I gotta go for this thing, I see what this other person has, this other social media influencer, this other artist, could be someone you see online, then you covet what they have and you're not content with what you have, even though you might have a bunch of good things in your life that God has given you, but because you're discontent and you're coveting, you're not acknowledging those blessings. In 1 Timothy 6 verse 6, it says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. So when you are content, you literally have more in life and your mindset is better because you're acknowledging the good things around you, so those things become bigger. And then what you don't have, you're not focused on that as much because you're focused on what you do have. And how you think about money and what you have in life is what makes the difference. It's not really about how much you have or about what good possessions you have, but how you think and your mind is truly everything. Like there are billionaires, there are millionaires who struggle to actually be happy with their success, quote unquote. But the truth is that like success isn't just monetary. Success is in how you think. Success is in relationships. Success is having a relationship with God, and then everything else being added onto that, and then you enjoying your relationship with God and enjoying relationships with people and enjoying financial success as a blessing from him and enjoying good things in this life on top of a relationship with God and through a relationship with God. A very practical way and a way to be a doer of there's a verse about, so 1 Timothy 6 says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. So a way to be a doer of this word and this scripture is to literally write out 3 things that you're grateful for every day, and that will help you to become more content, and that will help you to just see the goodness and God's goodness in your life on a more regular basis.